Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the S14 build. And today we're going to be working on the Starlight kit for your headliner. Now this video is going to be useful for all applications across all vehicles if you are looking to install stars in the ceiling of your car as well. So this will be the best video that is on YouTube at this current time, and I'm going to show you why throughout this whole entire process. But before I get started, I do want to give you guys a reminder that I am doing a $100 giveaway for my first 100 subscribers. So one lucky winner will walk away with $100 just for subscribing to the channel, all right? So again, one lucky winner from my first 100 subscribers will win $100, and hopefully it's you. So make sure you guys get subscribed, and don't worry if you're the 101th or so on subscriber, because we're going to be doing a ton of different things throughout the course of this build. All right, so let's get started. So displayed on the table, I pretty much have a ton of different things that you guys will need to complete this project. All right, so the first and most important, obviously you will need the Starlight kit. This will come with the light engine or the box module, whatever, the remote, some power cables, and of course you're gonna have the starlights. So we're gonna get back to this in a second after I show you all the different tools that you're gonna need, and if I miss something later on in the video, I'll just cover it. You're gonna need a hot glue gun, glue sticks. You're gonna need a drill attachment set. So you're gonna need these drill bits. You're gonna need a drill. Some regular tape would be helpful. I have some tester tape, and I'll just show you why we'll be using this. And we also have some expandable sleeving, a Sharpie, and some scissors. All right, so we'll get started into exactly how you're gonna put this all together and what the steps are. So first things first, I've already installed my headliner into my car. So we're going to be using a piece of cardboard to kind of recreate this whole process since I've already done it. And the nice thing about cardboard, it's pretty much the same consistency that is already in most headliners. It's not exactly cardboard, but it's some kind of material that feels very similar to cardboard. So that's why I just went ahead with that. And let's get started by working on the headliner. So once you get this removed from the car, you're gonna lay it out, and over here I've already kind of labeled it just to kind of give you guys an idea what you're working with. So if this was in your car and it was on the roof, it would be sitting flat like this. This is the front, this is the rear, right? So what we're gonna go ahead and do is go ahead and mark all the different dots where we want to drill the stars into the headliner. Now you're gonna want to be mindful of how many dots that you're putting down here, because your kit is going to come with a different number of fibers, and we'll get to that in a second. So my kit is a 300 fiber light kit. So in theory, we're going to go ahead and dot 300 dots on this piece of cardboard or the headliner. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to do a 300 because this is not going to be the actual usage, and I'm not going to actually go through the process. I'm just going to do a full recreation to give you guys an idea of exactly what you should do. All right, so I have all my dots in here, and I've seen a lot of different things that people do on YouTube. They'll try to recreate I guess, different star patterns that actually occur in the sky and stuff like that. In my personal opinion, it doesn't really matter, especially when these are in the car. It's gonna look really good as long as you have them assorted really nice. Some people will like draw this into 4 sections, especially if they're working on a really large car, and they'll just draw a line down the middle and a line across just to kind of keep them in sections. And people will also draw in like straight lines or like a line on a curve if they're gonna have like a meteor light kit. I don't have a meteor light kit. This is just a regular starlight kit, so the lights will just illuminate. So this is a very simple kit, but it would be the same process. If you did have a meteor light kit, you just put a few dots in sequence and that would cover that. All right, but we're gonna move along and we're gonna drill into the headliner. So from wherever you get your drill bits, this drill bit, I should say, set is actually from Harbor Freight. You want to take the smallest one that you have, because that's really all you're going to need for the size of these fibers. So this is a 1/16. That is more than what you need. All right, so I'm actually gonna do this whole process as if I would really be putting a kit, because I want you guys to see exactly what this looks like. And I'll also sample actual real footage from what I did when I actually installed my real headliner. So I'm gonna actually drill into this, and then once I'm done, you guys will see what that looks like. And I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I'm just gonna do maybe half, a quarter of this, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what you should do. All right, so you guys kind of get the idea. I drilled through them. You could kind of see some light passing through them as opposed to the other side. So once you would obviously do the same thing with the whole entire headliner, and then now would be getting ready to start getting the installation process going for the fibers. Now there's going to be some shavings left over, so if you want to vacuum that up or whatever you want to do, you could feel free to do so. Again, in this case, there's not really much going on, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue to the next step. Now this next step is why I consider my installation process to be the best, and it is because I'm taking this extra step to make this system or this installation look very professional, something that you would get from the dealership or from factory. So I'll show you guys what I'm going to do next. All right, so a few things that I want to explain about this kit. These are actually plastic fibers. They're not LEDs, and that's actually a good thing because these just allow light to pass through and pretty much just, you know, transfer light through this plastic fiber. So that's actually a really good thing, because if these were LEDs, if they burned out, you would have to like reinstall them, take them out of your headliner, reinstall them, and do that whole process again. The nice thing is if the light box, you know, goes out for whatever reason, or, you know, it's just old and it's time to change it, you can change that box and you're good to go. But I believe they're rated up to like 20,000 light hours or like 50,000 hours, which should last you, I don't know, till the end of time. Unless you keep these on literally 24/7, which would drain your battery. And yeah, you get the idea. But for the usage of a car, I believe that these kits should hold you out for years and years to come. This is my first time having them, but of course, if it meets what the factory says that it shouldn't really have any issues. So the next step that you're going to want to do, if this was your real headliner, is measure how long it is from the top to the bottom. And the reason why you want to do that is because we're going to run some sleeving through this to add as some extra protection for the plastic fibers when you're running them through your car. So these plastic fibers are 9.3 feet in length. And let's just say that this was about, I don't know, let's just call it 4 feet. So what you would do is you would roll out 4 feet of this, and we'd put it on here. We'd use some heat shrink, and we'd make it look all nice, and I'll show you an idea of what that looks like. So the reason that you guys are going to want a little bit of tape is because you got all of these ends hanging off here, and it's going to be very difficult to put the sleeving through here. So literally you just want to kind of wrap these up, keep them from moving, and to make your life nice and easy. You don't want any of those to be exposed because they will give you a hard time getting through the sleeving. So when you're done, you'll have something kind of like this, which will be easy to slide the sleeving through. Now you're going to take your tester tape, and the reason why I'm using tester tape is because it's just very nice. They use it in like expensive luxury cars when they're doing wire wrapping and stuff like that. And we really just need just a little bit, and I'm going to show you why. So in theory, what you would do is you'd run the sleeving all the way down to the end here. And you would want to have this piece of tape right here going around. And the reason why is because you want something for the heat shrink, which I didn't mention earlier, that you would need if you're going to do the same installation that I am, to adhere onto something. So giving it something to stick onto rather than directly to the fibers itself is definitely going to help, because you're going to have to heat this, and you don't want to heat the fibers directly. So that's why you want something like a piece of tape here, just to act as a layer in between those plastic fibers. But because I bought this kit literally just for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do that example right here in the beginning, because I'm going to take this off and send it back after we're done here. All right, so you're going to get something just like this here. And what you would do next is, this is kind of like a Chinese finger trap, where as you expand it, you see, as you contract it, it expands, and then when you let go, it contracts. So that's why you need this here in the beginning. And once you kind of get this going through, I'll just use the other end because it looks cleaner. You would get, oh, and you see, this is why you got to tape it all up, because this is exactly what I was mentioning will happen if you don't have it all taped well. So I'm happy that this happened on camera so you guys could see it. All right, so once you get it to where you need it to be, again, like I said, you would do this whole thing all the way down the fibers, and it would end up here where my index finger is originally. But because we're not going to do all of that for the purpose of this video, we're going to stop it right there. And what you would do is then slide on your expandable sleeving, and then you would heat this, and then you could obviously kind of see you would have a nice finish like the one I do in my car. And I'll show you a clip just so you guys can see an example of that. So this is literally the purpose why we do this. So that's why you want to do this process. It looks really good, really clean, and you won't regret it. Give yourself a little slack. So again, if this is 4 feet, you measure 4 feet of that, and you just want a little bit of slack, just so you could move around the wires and get them to where you're going to want them to be. But other than that, we are in good you're in good shape. So I'm just going to take this off now because I already showed you guys the example. What you need to do, you would just take a heat gun, heat this up, and it would contract, shrink, and it would just hold the expandable sleeve right in place. I'll leave the black tape on just to show you guys what I mean by giving yourself a little bit of slack. All right, so once everything is all covered in the sleeving and you have the heat shrink on both sides, now it's time to obviously get the installation started and start putting these fibers through the headliner. So again here, you remember I said that we should measure this. So I'm actually gonna move this black tape back a little bit so we can mimic as if this was the real deal. So again, I said, give yourself a little bit of room just to give yourself some slack. So I'm gonna put the tape right around here where my middle finger and my thumb is. All right. So obviously you could see that the fibers are going to be a little bit longer than the headliner, and that's not a problem. You actually kind of want that because when you run this behind the pillars, it just makes it easy to move around, and plus when you're gluing in the light into the headliner, it makes this a lot easier to have a little bit more play to move around so these things aren't just ripping out. I am going to actually set up the hot glue gun and glue a couple of these in there just to show you guys exactly what you should be doing. Oh, there's actually already a glue stick in there, so we are good to go. I'm just going to get that plugged in and we'll continue from there. And you're going to want to make sure you have a nice workspace so this way you're not in a confined area. It's going to take you a little bit of time. This took me like pretty much all day. It was a day-long project. And that was just because I kept procrastinating and was watching TV and stuff while I was doing it. But definitely give yourself some time to complete the project. Or I guess you can always come back and finish it. But if you're trying to finish it in one sitting, yeah, definitely have a nice little workspace. That'll help the job become a lot easier to work through and manageable. All right, so we're going to pretend that this whole wire is covered in the expandable sleeving that I showed you guys here. And everything was measured and done the way that I explained it to be. So now we're going to start installing this. And how you guys install this is actually going to be a key difference to what is going to separate you from a lot of kits that I've seen. So a lot of people, what they will show you to do is put this wire or this plastic fiber all the way through and it's protruding out the other end. And then they'll tell you that once it's all done, you can just cut it. But what happens is when you run your hands along the backside, it feels like, the best way to describe it is a whole bunch of ingrown hairs, right? When you shave and then you have your hairs growing back in, that's the best way to explain it. So you want to make sure that these things are recessed. So how I did my installation is I put my finger on the bottom, one on the top here, just to make sure that we weren't having that issue and that I couldn't feel them. Once that was the case, took my hot glue gun, and we laid them down just like that. And we did that a few more times. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this done. And then once I have a full row down this way, I'll come back. And yeah, the camera cut off there for a second, but what you're gonna wanna do is, and don't be alarmed if you have some of them kind of overlapping like this, that's okay. You're just gonna wanna tape them at that very end, just like that. And this is gonna make working as you're going across nice and easy. And if you're gonna run these fibers down the left pillar of your side, so the driver's side, then you're gonna wanna start on the left. If you're gonna wanna run it from the right, you wanna run it from the right using this method, because as you work across, now this will be to the side, and then you'll continue to do the fibers as follows and spread them out across, if that makes sense. So this will be there, that will be there, then the next set will be there, and then it'll be hanging down this way to run down the pillar that way. So you guys have a perfect idea of exactly how that should be. And if you also want to, you could probably tape this down, or even maybe just glue it down to the headliner, so this way it's not moving all over the place. You don't have to worry about this again, like I said, because once you put it in the car, you could just install it over. But if it's too much, then yes, you could obviously tape it down and lay it down as you move along. But this is the example that you guys are definitely going to want to follow. So once you're done with this step and you have everything glued in, you are pretty much all set to install this in your car. And it will look something like this when it is in your car. And here's another clip from it actually installed into my car. And you guys could actually see a little process of me just getting it put into the vehicle. And you could see the madness that's on the top of the headliner. But again, because it's going to be covered and it's not going to be seen, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect anything. And then you guys will have some great results. Hope you like this video. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. If you guys have anything to add, any suggestions on better ways of doing this, feel free to comment below. And I hope you guys stay tuned.